Hi guys, welcome. Long time no see. Anyways, so good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're watching in this part of the world. So guys, just adding to the previous video that that video was so long. Let's hope this one will be short, but anyways, I'm trying to be as authentic as I can in regards to all my video, because anyways, those are true stories. And so someone did send me a message in Instagram asking if what I was talking about, if it's linked to childhood trauma, and is a childhood trauma a thing? Does childhood trauma exist? Do I still have some childhood trauma based on my experience of living with different relatives, because my parents, none of my parents were in the picture. And I gave you guys I did tell you guys about my mom's whereabouts, and I told you guys in the next video, probably not this one, maybe another video, I'll let you guys in on why my dad wasn't in the picture as well. And then so anyways, I don't want to say too much, so I guess I can, when it gets to where my dad was in the picture, why wasn't he in the picture, I'll let you guys know in the next video. And it's not like how the statistics is of they're saying, oh, black dads are not, they take care of their kids, that they are not in the picture. The story is a little bit interesting. And so we will discuss that. So now let's get back to the story, the childhood trauma. Do I still have, the question was if I still have some childhood trauma based on my experience of living with different families, because the experience is different, obviously. Also, there are other families that I can attest to that things were not bad. Things were actually absolutely great. It's just like they were both one side, on the other side of the extreme. One extreme is absolutely amazing, and the other extreme is absolutely not so amazing. And then there is also the middle part that, okay, they're about. And I will tell you, there was a video that actually I made for Mother's Day, and I ended up not posting. And I think I did mention on that video how I ended up having 9 moms instead of 1, and what each of those moms meant in my upbringing. Starting off with my mom, who was just there, brought me to earth. And after a few years, she wasn't in the picture, and other moms took over, where I refer to them as moms. That is because that is the, how should I put it? That was a kind of, that's how they stood, or that's how, that was the role, that is the type of role that they played on my life, okay? Anyways, again, I showed the video, part of it I lost, which is the case. Anybody that does YouTube, you know that. You'll shoot a video, you think everything is perfect, and then all of a sudden, you either cannot find a video, or the sound is gone, or the video didn't record as it should, right? So I'll probably do that again. For me, I believe Mother's Day is every day. So I will be uploading that video, probably reshoot some of the parts that, I lost. And so that I'll post it for you guys. So again, it is still part of my journey, and it will be nice for you guys to actually see what all these 9 moms role meant in my life, okay? Anyways, let's go back to childhood trauma. My goodness. Okay, so the question was, based on my upbringing, okay, and all the relatives, like some of you guys know, you probably been through that. Yeah, some of you probably went through the government way, foster children, where if your moms were not your parents, maybe one or both are not in the picture, then sometimes, the government will step in and you'll be put into a foster home. Some of you, sometimes a relative will adopt you because the parents are not capable, or maybe they are not ready, and sometimes the parents are too young. And I think on my case also, I think my mom was too young at the time that probably she was having her children. I don't know that. As I told you guys, I'll be asking her, and I haven't been able to do that. Once I do, I'll let you guys know. Anywho, right? So back to childhood trauma. Did your experience staying with different relatives led to some sort of childhood trauma that you think you might still go through? I don't know. It's interesting, right? It is interesting, and I think to define that, if you speak to a professional, I'm sure a professional will be able to tell if that is the case. I remember when I was at the university, we had a speaker. The speaker was one of the people that he was, I think, how should I put it? He was one of the survivors of the what happened in Germany. Survivor of Holocaust. I don't know if you're supposed to say that word on YouTube, but anywho, he was one of the survivors, and he was old. He was in his 90s, but when he was talking about it, it was as fresh as yesterday. And also, there was a time that I went to indigenous drumming sessions. Sometimes they have these events in the city. And then there also I met one of the survivors of the residential schools. And also when she was talking about what happened at the school, and the memories as fresh as yesterday. And I also had some friends that were talking about their upbringing. Of course, they were brought up by both mom and dad. And they were talking about some of the kind of punishment they used to get as kids. And the girl would say that anytime they would hear the sound of their father's car, everyone will go into hiding because they were so afraid of their father, because out of nowhere you receive a slap if he asks you for something and you don't respond the way he wants it, and you'll just go flying, which is normal. You'll fall in a corner and just collect yourself and get out of his face, right? So again, and anytime when they were talking about it, again, the memories were as fresh as yesterday. So based on all this type of, experience, examples I'm giving you guys, also on my case, if I remember, some of the families that I stayed with where the experience were excellent, I still remember that, but I don't seem to, for some reason, I don't know why, good memories don't last longer than the bad ones. It's as if the bad memories are the ones that the brain is like, you're not going anywhere, we are holding you down. So it's like the bad memories, your brain seems to hold them. I don't know, how should I put it? Retain them. Your brain tend to retain them more. I have no idea. But it's more like when I'm speaking about my experiences of how I grew up, I tend to remember some of the not so pleasant memories. One of it, I don't know whether it's pleasant, it's one of those gray area, and I think I did mention this in some of my videos. I was staying at this one relative, the problem where they saw it as a problem, which I also thought was a problem, and I agreed with them it was a problem because it was not making everybody comfortable, is the fact that nobody in my family, or maybe like nucleus family, okay, my mom or my dad wasn't in the picture, and then I didn't have any close relatives. And the issue was I was attending school and I was always on top of my class, and that was not the case with some of the kids that stayed at the house. And the rule was anytime bringing home report cards. Some of you if you went to school in Africa, they call it report cards. I don't know what they call it here because I only went to. Okay, guys, so still on childhood trauma. I did tell you guys that someone, sent me a message on Instagram, was asking, based on my story that I told you guys in the previous video. I'll probably attach the video. Is whether I was still undergoing certain childhood trauma, and I just wanted to continue part of the story that where I tend to, my brain seemed to retain some of the memories that are not so good. Some of these memories are actually borderline, just somewhere in the gray area, and I don't know whether that is what is considered memory, that you can say, because for me, I think memory, not just childhood memory, there's still a lot of memories that I go through as an adult. Say for example, I do have early memories when I moved to Canada, so I'll probably tell you guys that as well. And I don't know if you guys want to consider it also trauma, but I tend to remember some of the memories that were not so good. I don't know why. My brain tend to retain that. I don't know why. So anyways, I was telling you guys a story of where I was in this particular homes, and I told you guys I grew up from moving from one relative to another, this relative to another. So there was this one home that I was staying in, and so there was an issue. The issue was during report cards, because they usually have a report card day where every kid in the family, they will bring their report cards when the school is about to close. So they will go through your work and they'll go through your marks and to see how you did in school, whether you're number 1 and number 10. And the plan was, anytime there is a number 1 in the family, they will, they'll make a chicken, because some of you guys that grew up, I don't know why growing up, people really loved, having chicken, because sometimes, depending on the type of household, certain meals are just, the family will have it on a special occasion. Now, report card day was considered a special occasion. That's when they will make special meal that they know kids love, right? And the issue with me that was rubbing everybody wrong, especially the owner of the home, was the fact that every report card, I was on top of the class. I was number 1 every time, right? And at first, I didn't see it, because sometimes when you are young, you don't see certain things. And very quickly, I was meant to see that. And one of the family members actually told me that we don't want to see this nonsense next report card. In other words, don't be bringing here number 1 in the next report card, because they were the one paying for my school, which I understand and I agree. Why will this child just be becoming number 1 all the time when you who's fending for the school, your children are like number 19, number 20? So I used to pray to God not to be number 1, but I will still be number 1. Sometimes I will just, I couldn't skip classes because I was a school prefect, but I will just decide maybe not to do certain assignment, and sometimes when I don't do it, the teachers will make me do it. Like if there was a way I can dodge certain tests, I will try, but still, even though I don't do it, because I was really loved by the teachers, I will still be made, I will sit in the staff room, they'll make me write those papers, right? So that was a very hard time. Sometimes during report card day, instead of coming home, I will, when I'm going to school, because usually we fetch water. Like if you guys grew up in certain part of Africa, some families do have tap at home, but for some reason the taps were not running all the time. So as a backup, you will have to go and fetch water from the borehole, some well or river, and they are far away from the house. So what I will do when I know it is report card day, I will take jerry cans for water, or whatever items we use for bringing water, I'll hide them behind the house. And then when I leave school, instead of going home straight, I'll carry the bucket or jerry can, then just go. That way I'll come home late and then they'll ask, where were you? I'm like, oh, I went to bring water. I went to bring water. So that way I'll come when everybody, the report card session is passed, and I'll just hide my report card and praying. Nobody will ask me about it. And in fact, it actually worked, because in many occasions they didn't even ask. Nobody wanted to see my report card. It's not like before, when school closes, I will run home. I'm very excited. I want to show everybody that I was number one. But when I started noticing as a child that one was causing a problem, I started hiding my report cards, and I stopped, showing. It's only once in a while when they go to pay for the fees, and they're like, oh, we don't even know. How come you didn't show us your report card? How did you perform? How was next semester? I'll just say, good. I pray that they don't ask me to go bring it. Right? So the moment that works, I was like, okay, so I just continue studying normally, and I will continue to be number one. And if anybody can remember the school I attended, especially for my primary, my high school, you guys know that. Anyways, and I tend to remember that. So is that a trauma that I still remember? I don't know. But they say that when you talk about something, I have no idea. It heals? Is it healing? I have no idea. So I don't know if that is considered a trauma, but it's something that I still recall. What other incident do I recall? This one too. My God, this one was interesting. This other one also was, oh my God, I was staying in this other family house as well. When I'll come home, help with everything and all that, the lady, because we used to go to bed like at around 9 o'clock, everybody, especially the kids, we go to bed. That lady will wake up like 10 or 10:30 p.m. at night. She will wake me up, and when the way she wakes me up, because like sometimes like kids, we share beds, she will wake me up or drag me out of the bed while I'm still sleeping. Drag me. Sometimes she'll pour water on me and tell me to go fetch water at night. Why sending someone's child in the middle of the night to fetch water? And she had this how do we call it? There is this water. It is like a tank, but it's only take 12 jerrycans. I don't know, how do you guys call that? People that stayed in Africa, you guys know. It's a very big container for water. It takes up to 12 jerrycans. So it's like it takes 1 jerrycan takes 20 liters of water. Okay, you guys can do the math. 1 jerrycan takes 20 liters of water, and then that tank or that container takes 12 jerrycan of water. So multiply 12 times 20. So that's how much water that container takes. She'll wake me up and to go and fetch water, and she want me to fill that container with water. And sometimes by the time I finish, it's like 1 or 2 a.m. and I have to wake up 6 a.m. to go to school. And you don't just wake up and go to school. No. You have to clean the compound or clean the house, make breakfast for everybody, even though you're not going to have that breakfast because you are rushing to school, and then do everything. That's when I'm going to go to school. By the time I get to school, I am so sleepy. But up to now, I cannot understand why she did that, But that was so weird. Oh, and here's the other thing. I came to realize, because anytime I wake up, I'm cleaning the compound, I will see the container has only half water. But then because there was grass, so you can't really see, then one day I took a really good look. I realized that container has a hole. So I will fill the water at night. By morning, it's probably half or just quarter because the rest of the water has leaked away. The rest of the water have gone, basically, because it has a hole. And then one day I told her that, Auntie, actually, I realized why we don't have water in this, because I keep filling it every night, but in the morning we don't have water because it has a hole on it. So I thought she was going to say, oh, we will have someone to come and fix it, blah, blah, blah. No. Instead, she was like, oh, are you telling me I'm stupid? You want to exchange words with me? You should be grateful. You have roof over your head, So, yeah. I don't know why I still remember that. So, I don't know. Is that considered trauma? Is trauma... I don't know. is something that you remember as a childhood. Is it a trauma? Or if it's something good, is that a good trauma? Anyways, guys, let's continue the discussion. Right? So I was just telling you guys about, how the lady will send me to fetch water at night. And guys, some of you, if you guys know, we had power though. Some parts of Africa, they don't have power, especially in the villages. And where we stayed, it wasn't town and it wasn't village either. And at night, because the route to where we go and fetch the water, there's no street lights. It is dark. But here's a miracle, guys. Every time she'll wake me up to go and fetch water, I swear to God, oh my God, every time I speak about this, I'm getting goosebumps. Anytime she sends me to get water in the middle of the night to go fetch water, because there is no street light, the light of the moon will come out of nowhere. It's like as I was walking, it's as if the moon was following me. I know I'm not making sense. Trust me. It was as if the moon was following me. I'll have bright light. And then there was one time I was coming back with water. She actually asked me, "Who's following you with the torch?" Then who's behind you with the torch? I'm like, no, there's nobody. I'm alone. She said, no, are you lying to me? You think I didn't see? There was someone, I saw a torch. I saw a torch. Someone is behind you with a light. I was like, no. I think it is just the moon. No, there's nobody. Guys. I was like, oh my God, every time. And even though, here's the weird thing. Oh my God, I still get goosebumps every time I think of that. That is a very weird thing, Very, very weird, guys. Very scoopy. Oh my God. And I do have a lot of very scoopy incidences that happen to me when living with different, those different relatives. So yeah, and here's the thing, right? When she wakes me up at night to go fetch water, sometimes, right, it is as if it's going to rain, right? And I'll look up, I'll say like, oh my God, it's going to rain. I just like, God, please don't let it rain. How am I going to see when I'm bringing the water? Let it rain after I have fetched the water. Guess what? The cloud will clear, my moon will come back, I'll fetch my water all night. Once I'm done, I'll go wash my legs. Is that English? I'll go freshen up, or maybe sometimes if there's enough water, I'll just go bath, because sometimes when you're carrying the water, some of the water spills on you and all that. Then I'll go to bed. And that was so weird. Anytime I'm walking at night with that water that she sends me to carry, it's as if the moon was. It's like the moon, guys. I know I'm not making sense, but trust me, someone from somewhere in the universe, I don't know, how do you call these people? Whether it's an alien, a good alien, Holy Ghost, call that person, it's a positive something. A good chi, just think of it. Angel, whatever that thing was. It was following me anytime she sends me at night to go fetch water. I'll have that light. And anytime I look up, I say it's the moon. It's as if the moon the thing was just like a torch, was following me with light. But then everywhere else was dark, guys. Everywhere else was dark. And I'm not even kidding, because I even wonder, I could not tell anybody. How do you tell anyone? No, but who's gonna believe you? Nobody's gonna believe you. I had best friends at school. I could have told them, but who's going to believe you? Nobody. But the neighbors did find out that she sends me out at night, and they did talk to her. But that didn't stop. And I think after 3 or 4 neighbors, the more neighbors were telling her that you need to stop sending this child at night. If something happens to this child, it's going to be on your head, right? And that's when she stopped sending me out in the middle of the night to fetch that water. But she can attest that there was something following me with light, because she even one day when I was bringing water, she was like, "Who's that behind you with a torch?" Then I was like, "No, there's nobody." It's like, "You think I didn't see the torch? I saw a big light behind you." I said, no, there's nobody. It is just the moon, right? So guys, I'm sure if she's here, she'll attest to that. There was something that was giving me light while she sends me out in the middle of the night to fetch water. Despite the fact that I told her that that container had a hole, she did not stop. She continued. So when I was young, it didn't make sense. At first, I thought, oh, maybe she wants me so that when I wake up in the morning, I don't have to bother going to fetch water. But then I found out that that container had a hole. Every morning, all the water I fetched all night is gone. And she will tell me before going to school, "You better fill that container before you go to school." So basically, I was filling that thing at night, and I have to fill it in the morning. And when I told her it has a hole, she was like, "Why are you telling me? Oh, you are now exchanging word. Who are you exchanging word with me?" No. You should be grateful. You have, I give you food and there is roof over your head. Basically, you should be grateful for the shelter I'm giving you and the food I'm giving you. In a way, I said, well, she's right. She's giving me shelter and food. I stopped asking. I will fetch the water at night, knowing that I'm going to repeat the same thing in the day because the thing has a hole. Anyway, so those are some of the things that I still remember. So I don't know, things that you remember that happened as a child, are they trauma? I don't know how to identify trauma, but it is things that sometimes I remember, and especially with that particular family, I felt like it is such a missed opportunity. It's a missed opportunity because if someone left a child with you, just do your best. Just accept that child as your own, because you don't know what God will bring tomorrow, Because I remember one time she got burnt really bad, 3rd-degree burn. And none of her family were willing to even touch her because the wound was really bad. Nobody was willing to apply, what is it called? Some ointment, burn ointment that was given to her by a doctor. Guess who was doing it? I am. Guess who was giving her like showers, making sure she changes? I was the one doing everything. So I did everything for her. Then I was like, okay, maybe God was trying to teach her something. Once she's healed, she's going to be nice. So I was very hopeful. Oh my God. But after she recovered, and she recovered, I think she was sick for, up to six months or more. But when she recovered, she was back to her, I don't want to say witchy lifestyle. She was back to her incredible ways of treating someone. Right? So yeah, it's interesting. It's very interesting. And when I came to Canada, I heard that she was sick, and of course they called me. They said, "Oh, can you send us some money? Your aunt is sick." I was in school. Where am I gonna get money from? I was in school. But anyways, I said I'll see what I will do. At that time, I was working part-time at the university. I think I was working in the school cafeteria. I also had I was working also at the International Student Center. So I was doing a few things at school as well. And I was also writing assignment. I was writing essay, for students, and I was getting paid for that. So yeah. So when I got paid, I just took the whole money and I sent it to them. Because something was telling me, why are you sending her the money for how you were treated in that house? But I was like, you know what, who am I to judge? I need to be grateful, at least I'm alive. Plus, as she said so many times, they gave a shelter and they gave me food. You know? So as I was saying, when she was really sick, I was already here in Canada. They called me that, oh, we should send money, blah, 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 your aunt is sick. And at first I was like, why am I sending this woman money for how I was treated, especially fetching water at night, and then I'll go to school very sleepy because I have to do everything. And it's not like where we lived too. No. The house was full of people, but she preferred me doing everything. I had no issue. For me, as long as I can make it to school, I was good. Because in school, I was being treated as a VVIP. I was in the school prefect, I was highly respected from the teachers to students. So in school, I was living high life, But at home, I was living worse than Cinderella. But that wasn't an issue. Then I was like, you know what? They want the money. I don't want to be God, right? At least with everything, I'm still alive. And I still have to be grateful and thankful, in everything. Even the Bible says in everything, give thanks. So I still have to give thanks to her, to her family. I had a roof over my head. That is more important. I wasn't living on the street. I had food, They helped me with the school, even though at the last year of school, they told me that, oh, you need to drop out of school because unfortunately we cannot continue paying for your school because your mom is not here, or none of your family is here. So then I went and I spoke to school that I was told to discontinue school because family I'm staying with cannot pay for my school anymore. And the school decided to cover all my bills. They said, no, you continue coming to school and we'll take care of that, right? Because as I said, I was always on top of my class and I was a school prefect. I was really loved at school. Like at school, I was like elite. Like school, really, really, I excel in school. And when they said they could not fend for my school anymore, the school decided to take over, right? So this is one side of the families that I stayed with. And also I wasn't, it's funny, when I was growing up, there were a lot of people that I could have written to. I could run to a relative to say, I don't want to stay there anymore, I need to stay with a different relative. I have that option. Because the family where my mom comes from, they are very stable family, and some of them they are not doing bad. They are what you can call the elite of the society, ministers, doctors, lawyers, pastors, right? So I had no issue. I can easily run and move to a different relatives. But no, I just decided, I didn't want to make her look bad. Plus, how am I going to say, oh, I want to move because of how I'm being treated? Where's your mom? Your parents are not in the picture. Who told you that if you move to a different relative? So I had no interest. The only time I'll move from one relative to another is because one relative will come and tell that relative, hey, after this girl finishes school, she's coming to us. It was relatives talking among us themselves, taking me. So it was relatives that will take me. But I never for one day said that, oh, you need to come and take me. Maybe there was one incident, I think, that I wanted a relative to take me, and they didn't. And I remember telling some of the kids that we were playing with, because the other one, I don't know who's worse, whether this or the other relative that I stayed with. There was another relative that I stayed with too. Man, that one was worse. Again, worse treatment than Cinderella. But that one was, hey man, that was crazy. And so I did talk to one relative to say if they can, take me out of that place. The relative came and she saw, it's like, no, we talked to your auntie, why do you want to leave? They love you here, your uncles, they're okay with you staying here. So unfortunately, we cannot take you. Just continue staying until you are done. or until they decide that they want to bring you over. So then one of the kids that we were playing with, I still remember that. One of the kids that we were playing with, she told me that, oh, you know what? My mom says, she was telling me that her mom says, anytime you want something done, you can talk to Jesus. And Jesus will make the thing happen. I was like, really? She's like, yeah. So anyways, and then I went to talk to her mom. I said, when are you guys going to church? She told us, and I'm like, can you please talk to my aunties, because I want to go with you guys to church. There is something I need to tell Jesus. And she said, what is it? I'm like, no, it's a secret that I need to talk to Jesus. It's like, okay, I'll talk to your aunt. I still remember this. And then she went and talked to my aunt. And then they said, yeah, if she wants to go to church, well, if you guys are going on Sunday, you guys can go with her. It was so funny. The church was very far, and I can remember because I was so young. I remember one of them were carrying me in the back because I was so young, and I was already getting tired because it was so hot, and we were walking. And I don't know whether the church was so far, or maybe because I was too young that I was getting tired very quickly. I have no idea. I think one day I need to go to that place and try to see the distance between the house and the church. So anyways, they were carrying me, and I could just walk a little bit. I was already tired. I could not understand why that church was very far. And anytime I got tired, some of the older kids will carry me in the back. And then, of course, they get tired, they will put me down, and then we'll continue to walk. We were not getting to that church. But anyways, we eventually did. And then, from what I can remember now, it was a Catholic church because there was a huge statue of Jesus. And then the little girl was there that told me that if you want anything, talk to Jesus. Because apparently her mom talked to Jesus every time she prays for something, and Jesus gives her. Then I was like, wow, that is my opportunity. And then they wanted to send us to Sunday school. Who's going to Sunday school? Not me. Jesus is right there. I have to go talk to Jesus. Because as a child's mind, I thought I need to talk to the statue. How am I going to talk to Jesus without seeing the statue? Hell no. I started crying. They are dragging me. I was crying until they let me go. So I ran to where the statue of Jesus was. And then I think the father at the church said, no, you guys can leave her, because even the scripture says, the Lord says, let the children run unto me, don't refuse them. So then I went to Jesus and I was whispering. I'm like, can you please can you please talk to my auntie to take me out of here? I don't want to stay in this place I was staying with. They need to take me out of here. And then the funny thing, I thought when I talked to Jesus, Jesus was going to respond. There was no answer from the statue. I was expecting a two-way conversation. There was no conversation. I'm like, Jesus, are you hearing? Did you hear what I said? Don't forget. Make sure you tell my aunt. Don't forget. And then I went back to the little girl. Of course, now they are sending us to Sunday school, and I was still looking back because I was thinking maybe the statue was going to start talking, responding to my answer, and I want to hear what Jesus was going to say. Then I told the little girl, I told Jesus, but he wasn't responding. He didn't say anything back. The girl is like, no, Jesus doesn't respond like that. He just answers. As long as you tell him, he has answered you. I'm like, okay. So I was so happy. I was dancing. They took us to Sunday school. Anyway, so after that week, so I was thinking my auntie will now come. And then on a Friday, my auntie came. Oh, I was so happy. I said, hey, Jesus, I ran to the girl. I said, Jesus answers. Like, why? My aunt is here, so I think they are coming to take us. So when I went, they told us to go and greet my aunt. I went, I said, hey, did you come to take us? He's like, what do you mean? He's like, no, because then I was telling her, because I told Jesus on Sunday for you to come and take us, and you are here. So that means Jesus told you, right? Jesus told you. Then she's like, no, I'm not here to take you guys. I'm just visiting. Because she had a very big farm at where we are staying. So they just came to harvest something so that they can go with it to where to other part of the city that they lived, and it was like trailer and trailer. Like, as I told you guys, the family are very, very wealthy. They have like acres and acres of land, right? So anyways, as I was telling you guys that and then on the Friday my auntie came, so I was so happy. I went and I hugged my aunt. I'm like, hey, you came. I knew you were gonna come. And then she's like, what do you mean? Then I told her that I told Jesus for you to come and take me. And you are here, so that means Jesus answered. Jesus told you. He's like, well, she was like, I don't know what your conversation is with Jesus, but I'm not here to take you. I'm here, we are coming to harvest. Because in the city that I lived, as I told you, my mom's side, they are very well off, and she had acres and acres of land. So they had planted a lot of groundnuts and corn, so they were coming to harvest. So they were a lot of, I think from what I remember from a child's eye, there were like a lot of big trailers and a lot of, sacks and sacks of groundnuts that were harvested, that they were going with it to the city, to a different part of the city. We are living in a different part of the city. So so I was so disappointed. I'm like, how comes? She's coming to harvest. I thought she was coming to take me. So I went and I told my friend that we play with. I'm like, you know what? You need to tell her, when are you guys going to church again? He's like, what? I said, you know what? I told her, I need to talk to Jesus again. She's like, why? I said, you know what? I think Jesus didn't hear me properly. I told Jesus for my auntie to come and take me, not for her to come and do her harvest. Now my aunt is here, but she's telling me that Jesus did not tell her. So I need to repeat it. Maybe Jesus didn't hear. Then she was like, my mom says Jesus never get things wrong. So anyways, I'll ask if they will accept. So then, of course, and then I went with her to the mom. The mom is like, I don't know if we want to take you to church, because the last time we went with you, you are disturbing everybody. We keep crying and people keep helping to carry you. We cannot take it. Then I was like, no, I'm going to be really nice. So one Sunday came, they did not go. So the following Sunday, I went with them again. And then when we went to church, I ran. And this time the fathers knew, right? They let me to run to my Jesus statue. So I ran to the statue. I was like, Jesus, you forgot. I told you for my auntie to come and take me with her to the city. She came, but she said it wasn't to come and take me. They were coming to harvest. So you need to tell her to come and take me, not the harvest part. Don't forget. And then, of course, obviously, and then I was still sitting there. I was trying to remember what else I can tell Jesus that, Then I said, oh, Jesus, I have an idea. You know what? I'm going to hide my clothes on the roadside. When my auntie comes, I'll just run from the house. When they are leaving, I'll just follow them. But don't forget, tell her to come and take me, not to come for harvest. Obviously, the statue is not responding as usual. And then, of course, they came and dragged me to Sunday school. People are wondering what I was whispering in Jesus' ear. So anyways, then as they were taking me to Sunday school, one of the fathers of the church pulled me aside and asked, my child, what is troubling you? Could you keep coming to Jesus? I said, well, there was something I told Jesus the last time we came, but I think he didn't hear properly. So I came again to say it properly so that he can hear me. Then he said, what is it? Maybe I can help you pray so that if two of us can tell Jesus, maybe he will make sure he doesn't forget. Then I was explaining to her, how things are tough at the house, and I really want to move in with one of my aunt because she seems nice, but I don't want to stay in this particular home anymore. And he's like, is everything okay? I'm like, I can't. And again, I'm explaining to him with the mind of a child, right? So I said, what I want is just to move to a different city with where my aunt is. He's like, okay, I'll put you in my prayer. So anyways, we went. And then 2 weeks passed, 3 weeks passed. But as a child, I'm not even counting weeks. All I know is that it took so a very long time for my auntie to come. But this time when my auntie came, And she told me that, oh, I heard that you guys, I'm coming for you to go and stay with your cousins for some times. And then after that, you'll come back. And then I was like, hey, Jesus answered, Jesus answered. She was like, what? What did you tell Jesus? I said, no, when we went to church, I reminded Jesus again. I told him that he forgot. So I meant for you to come and take me, and now you are taking me. So those are some of the memories that I remember as a child from some of the experiences that I had growing as a child in different homes. How should I put this? The best way of putting this is children are a blessing. Even the scripture says children are a blessing. But if you are not ready to have children, or if you have children and you think you cannot take care of them, find them a proper place where people that loves them, that will care for them, rather than leaving children to move from so many different homes. I don't think it's healthy. So here's the thing. Usually it doesn't turn out good. Sometimes it does. So like growing up, because I lived through different homes, and through these different homes, I will stay in certain homes where I've seen kids, talk anyhow to their parents. Some of them smoke, some of them drink. But as a kid, I was never curious, right? I was never curious of trying all these things. Where sometimes kids go to party. There was this particular home that I was staying in. Everybody in that house, apparently there was a party going in one of the neighborhood. Everybody sneaked because the parents at the house, which is the case in most African households, teenagers, kids are not given permission that you are permitted to go to a club or you are permitted to go to a party. If there's an event that is happening, whether it's a wedding, whether it's funeral, the whole family is going. They are not just sending one person. And I remember in this particular home that I was staying, there was a party happening, and the moment everyone went to sleep, some of the kids, the boys, the girls, sneaked through the window, and they asked if I wanted to go. I'm like, no, I'm okay, because I was never curious, into those things. And then my job was basically to let people in. To let people in. Sometimes people sneak that they want to go to club, please, open the door for us. So my job was to open door for people, but I was never curious. But leaving kids to grow up from home to home, sometimes if some kids are curious, like me, I wasn't curious on those things. Some kids that are curious in doing certain things, they can easily go off track. They can easily be misled. They can easily get into trouble. There's a lot of things that can happen that, you'll end up with early pregnancy, God forbid, STDs, all sorts of things that can happen to teenagers, right? So my thing is, what I learned from this experience is that I wouldn't want my children to go through that. I wouldn't want my children to go through that. And also, if I was to have any other child or children or relatives staying in my house, I want them to have the best experience. And if they are kids need to be kids, right? Whether helping them with their education, supporting them with whatever career they want to accomplish, very important. But just to treat kids right, because kids don't remember things, because there are a lot of things that I remember from when I was 4, right? So there's this assumption that kids are just kids, that they're not going to remember anything anyways, they don't know things, they are not smart. No, kids are smart. Kids are not dumb. Kids can easily emulate things that parents do. That's why it's not good to be in a DV household. If there's a DV, don't think that kids don't know. They know, right? So it's very important just to make sure that don't let your kids grow from home to home if you can. And if you're staying in a home where there is DV, just get out. Take your kids. I don't know, man. I don't know how to say it. It's just let's all be good human beings, right? Yeah, that's all I can say. But I have a lot of such stories, and maybe I'll continue to tell you guys all these stories. But though trauma, so as I was saying, that kids are smart, kids are not dumb, and if someone let you have kids in your household, just treat them right, because you don't know tomorrow. And I've also learned, as a learning lesson, that's a lesson that I learned. That's a lesson that I learned, is that not all mothers are meant to mother. Not all mothers are meant to mother, right? Some are just used as vessel by God to bring kids to this world. And I don't blame, because I don't like to put blames, and I can never point a finger. I can never point a finger to say, oh, you should have done that, you should have done this. It's up to the person why they did things the way they did. Do they have regrets? Now that have they learned anything? Can they do things differently right now, right? If you're not ready to bring kids in this world, don't wait until you're ready. There is IVF these days. You can use IVF. You can use surrogate mother to bring kids in this world. So whenever you're not ready, don't do it, because you might end up, I don't know if there is such a thing, maybe you might end up with unwanted kids, or maybe just you don't have time for kids. You have the kids, maybe you do love them, yes, but you don't have time to bring them up, or you don't know how to. But well, there is no school for mothers. There is no school on how to become a mother. You don't have to get education, because things are different. They learn in the job. Most mothers learn in the job, and it's not easy. It's not an easy task. It's not an easy task. And maybe some people are just scared of, it's like, oh my God, now I have this human being. How am I gonna do it? Maybe some people are just scared, like, oh my God, I don't want anything to go wrong. You can always speak to the right people, find the right people, talk. You never know who's out there to listen and to guide you on how to bring these little human beings the right way, rather than letting them end up in different homes. It's like foster kids, basically. It's foster kids, but in this time, you are kind of foster, but not the government doing it. It's just like you are being handed from one family to another. And the other thing I remember is I wasn't a troubled kid. Most family members actually wanted me to go and, stay with them, because I was a good kid. According to them. I was a good kid. I was smart, according to them, I was a good kid. But I got lucky that way. And in a sense, well, I kind of have to grow very quickly to know that you don't have any parent in the picture, and you're going to be moved from one relative to another. And if you are somewhere in that same situation where I was, you are being moved from one relative to another, it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time, and life will work itself out, right? So it is what it is. But just, not all mothers are meant to be a mother. And it's not like they don't love their children. They do love their children. But maybe they love their children from a distance. I don't know. But I have no idea. But anyways, as I told you guys, I'll be talking to her. I'll be talking to my biological mother to ask, like, what's up? Like, what led you, to do that? Like, why? What was she going through, because it's not like she was sitting in a corner somewhere suffering. No, ma'am. She was living her high class, dining with presidents, getting married to all these people, so she was living her life. It's just that I think she started having kids early. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. I have no idea. Again, I cannot say But what I'm trying to say is, speaking of trauma, could this have been a trauma? Could some of this, are there correlation? Can I say, was it, what I can say as far as the topic for today, I can say some of the experiences were traumatic to some extent. But I cannot say that I'm going through a trauma because, oh my God, I'm still thinking, why did they do this to me? No. I have moved on because God has been amazing, right? I have moved on from that. Because I don't like to dwell in the past. I don't dwell in the past. But just for YouTube's sake and for someone who's still in that situation, to learn one or two things. The learning lesson here is hang in there, because no situation is permanent. No situation is permanent. And it will come to an end, and you'll also be out of whatever situation you're in. And sometimes some kids get moved from family to family because the parents are not there anymore. They are not, I guess, on earth anymore. Most of them are orphans. So it's very common that the orphans will be moved from one relative to another, one relative to another. But in this situation, no. The mom was alive, the dad was alive, right? So yeah, very interesting situation. But very soon we'll get some answers. I like answers. Yeah, I like answers. I like getting answers to situations. Otherwise, my brain will just start speculating 10,000 things, and will go 100 ways of trying to understand situations, right? So yeah. Again, I cannot say I'm going through certain trauma or maybe childhood trauma, but I can say some of the things were traumatic in nature. Traumatic in nature. Some of the families you stay with, traumatic. How can it not be traumatic? You are number one in school and they're telling you that. Why? Who do you think you are? We are paying for your school. No kids in this house is number one, and we are paying for your school, and you are becoming number one. And they are correct in a sense, right? But for me, if I was bringing up someone's child and I'm paying for their school and they're doing better than my kids, it just shows that I need to push my kids a little bit better, more. Maybe they need to study together, get a tutor where they learn together and they can each learn from each other. That one can act as a good example for them to work hard to get to that. But you cannot turn it into a negative. Can you imagine my prayer request to God is like, God, please, I don't want to be number one. And I will still be number one, no matter how. But apparently, God knew why God was doing that. Because the moment they stopped, and the school is like, don't worry, we'll take care of it. Just continue going to school. Right? So yeah. It's fun. It's like, I do write books, but I don't think my life history is something that I need to write a book about. No, I don't think so. The reason being is it won't be, I don't know. Making a movie will make sense, but writing a book about it, nah, it's not. Yeah, because some of these people are like really blood relatives, so you cannot. It's more like, are you trying to throw them under the bus? But some of the experiences is good for learning for other people, and certain facets of the experiences can be used into a positive, because not all of them are negative. And one day I'll come here and I'll tell you guys about some of the positive memories that I've had living with different relatives. How amazing some of them was. I remember, I'm gonna come up with this story. I remember one aunt, because where I was staying, I was used to the idea that when you are sick, don't even bother telling them that you are sick, because they don't wanna hear it. Did you fetch the water? Did you cook? Did you do the dishes? Are the laundry done? They don't want to hear that you are sick. So when you are sick, you don't really say you are sick. They say, who are you telling you are sick? Actually, at first I used to think that, I feel sick. Yeah, some of these memories are interesting. Like, for example, sometimes even though you are sick, you don't say you are sick. Who are you telling you are sick? Did you do the laundry? Did you fetch water? Did you cook? You cannot be playing around saying you are sick. They don't want to hear that. And it was normal. But at first, I used to think, because at first, before moving to one of those families, when you are sick, you get treated really well. You can ask for whatever you want to eat. They'll give you because you are sick. No. When I started staying at this one relative, you are sick. What do you mean you are sick? What do you mean you are sick? What is that? They're asking you. Did you do the laundry? With that sickness, you'll go do the laundry. You go clean. You go cook. They say, nonsense, get out of here. Go drink La Kurumba. There is this African leaves that you have to mix very bitter. Go get La Kurumba and drink. Please, we have visitors. We have visitors coming. You need to come and organize the living room. Look at what the children did here. Even you yourself, you are still a child. Right? So those are some of the experiences. And then when I moved, when this one relative took me and I was staying at this one relative, and then there was a time I was sick. I was really, really sick, but I was used to the fact that even though you are sick, you still have to do things. And then I was really sick and I was trying to do laundry, I was trying to cook, and then she was back from work. And she said, you look pale, are you okay? I'm like, I'm sick, but it's okay. I'm just about to finish doing this. And it's like, no. She started calling other people to come. You are sick, go. Did you take any medication? I said, no, there is no medicine. Why didn't you tell me? Because I'm used to not saying when you are sick. I said, no, it is okay. I'm just soaking the leaves, and then the La Kurumba leaves, I'll go drink it. It's like, no. She called the driver. They took me to the clinic. I was like, wow. I have such relatives in this world. It's just a small headache. They're taking me to the clinic. Yeah. We went there and he told the doctor, you need to check up, blah, blah, blah. And then they're asking me all the questions. Did you throw up? Yes. You have headache? Yeah. Hey. I was like, hey. Wow. Why didn't I run from that place and come here? Right? So I got treated. When I got home, when we were on the road, they asked if there's anything that I need. I said, well, if there is any fruit, it's okay. But no, don't worry, it's okay. I'll just go eat at home. No. They stopped the driver. Driver, go buy her this. The driver brought the things in the car. When I got home, they asked the house girl. She told the house girl, why did you let her to cook? Don't you guys know she's sick? It's like, no, we didn't know she's sick. She said she wasn't feeling well, but she said she will still do it. No. Anybody should not disturb her. She's sick. Come and take this fruit cut for her. So they went and organized the fruit. Hey, my head was this big. I was like, hey, I have this kind of relatives. Where have they been? My head was this big, the orange fruits. I wasn't allowed to touch anything because I was sick. I was like, hey, I have relatives like that. So I do have such kind of experiences. And I did also have another experience, a lot of positive experience from some of these relatives. Then I was staying at one of my another relative came and take me to go and stay with them for some time. And the uncle apparently is very, very wealthy. Holy cow, he had a lot of businesses and all that. And then she was trying to explain to me how are related, how the African relationship for extended family, your mother's this and your father's this, and who, I don't know, the way they do the calculation of breaking down how you are related. Man, that very, very wealthy. They had like 5 or 6 nannies. Every nanny has their duty. There's a gunner, there's everything. Hey, when I got there, I was shot into my room and I was shown this one nanny. She was supposed to be doing this for me, doing this for me. I was like, hey. I was like, what? Yep. So anyways, my experience of living from relative to relative has like extreme, as I told you guys before. One extreme is like crazy, out of this world, and the other extreme is highly elite. You know, you have ministers, you have presidents coming to the house. It's like normal. Hey, the first time a minister comes, it's like, oh yeah, they're gonna have dinner here. I'm like, hey, you know. And then I also had few relatives that were also in the government, a lot of member of parliament, ministers, you know, which was normal. I was like, hey. And I didn't know any of those. I came to know most of the relatives as I grew up, but because of where I was left in Timbuktu, yeah, I grew up not knowing a lot of relatives. But the point is, I'll come here again, guys, and I'll be telling you the other extreme side of how different some of the families are where I was brought up, growing up. That's why I have all this type of experiences, you know, growing up. Just like, and I think I can say that these experiences also apply to a lot of things here that I can relate to, even though it's not exactly the same, but something I can relate to. But yeah, so going back to the topic of today, trauma. Have some of the situations you've been through staying in different houses, was it traumatic? Was it, are you still having a trauma out of this, out of those things? I can say no, but they were traumatic experiences. There were certain situations that I found myself in. They were traumatic in nature, like going to fetch water at night. You are afraid, you know. So sometimes I'll be singing, you know, trying to, but still it's very quiet and dark. But thanks to the moon, the light of the moon will be following me. So it's crazy, it's crazy. And I also have other, oh my God, some of those, I have other stories that are very scoopy. I don't know. Scoopy, very weird. Very, very weird. There are certain situations that I went through that you're supposed to not be alive, I think. Yeah, deadly situations, right? But I cannot say they are, again, am I dreaming, having bad dreams about things, no. I sleep like a baby, not zero trauma, but some of them are traumatic in nature, right? Some of them are trauma. What is trauma? Traumatic in nature is things that actually shock you, shock you to the core, and things that are unexpected, and then, yeah, so I do have that. Oh man, I do have that. Oh, story. I have a lot of them. I have a lot, guys. In the next video, we are still going to talk about these stories. I have a lot of other stories of growing up with different families and whatever experience, and I'll tell you guys. The reason I want to take this as series of talking about this is because let's do this storytelling regarding this particular stories, issues, just in case someone is going through, just to give you strength to say that maybe you might think that your situation is bad. There are people that have seen worse. And also, no situation is permanent. Very soon you will get out of that situation before you know it, right? And the other thing is, I'm buying time. I still haven't gotten into that book that we were writing. Remember the book, Inheriting Enemies? The book is not done because there are certain things we are not finished with the snack package that we are working on. So anyways, guys, next video is going to be another story regarding traumatic experiences. Not a trauma that I'm going through. No, I'm not going through any trauma. But traumatic experience that I have faced staying with different relatives. Okay? Anyhow, that is it, guys, for now. And I'll see you all in the next video. Take care. you.